you recently discovered a new Netflix reality show.
So it's not actually classified as a reality show, right? Reality indicates that they're producers and they manipulate events in some way, shape, or form. This is actually classified as a Netflix documentary series.
Oh boy. I mean, isn't documentary still a little bit reality?
Yeah, there's definitely some manipulation, but I guess I don't know what the formula is for manipulation to non-manipulation ratio to go from documentary to reality show.
So you watched this Indian matchmaking, and it's called Indian Matchmaking.
Yes.
Original name.
That's
Love
the
it.
show. That's the show
Love the
title.
name.
It's very to the point. You know exactly
love
what
that.
it is. Yeah. Indian matchmaking. Okay.
What's it about? What is it exactly?
Okay, so the show follows a famous Indian matchmaker. She was actually featured in a documentary a couple years ago. Her name is Seema. She always introduces herself as Seema from Mumbai. So Seema from Mumbai. She's this very famous Indian matchmaker.
Sorry, real
Go
quick. Before we dive in a little bit, what's a matchmaker? Like, what's the definition? Because I have my idea of what it is, but
Sure.
what's like the official?
So a matchmaker is someone that is basically hired by a person or a family, an Indian family generally. Like this is a very Indian thing.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So
Didn't know that.
to match a person with another person. So basically introduce them, and then they could potentially get married, like to meet, and then with the idea of getting married. It's like an arranged marriage, right? So like in Indian culture and like Hindu culture and everything, arranged marriages were a big thing. This is just a person that professionally does it, and
So it's kind of like a real life version of Tinder.
yeah, exactly. It's
Tinder come to life.
So it's not quite arranging a marriage. It's just setting people up to see if they work together.
They match, right? And they have they talk about biodata a lot, right? So
Whoa.
they get a lot of information like height, weight,
Oh yes, you got to make sure it matches.
where you're from, what's your family background, your religion, your
Star sign.
your hobbies, star sign. Astrology is a big thing in the entire show. Like she meets with a lot of astrologists to see like do their star signs and everything match up and are they compatible. And it's actually fascinating because there's like one scene in the documentary series where she basically has like a full grid and she like grids out people. It's almost like math, like breaking down a human being to like numbers in math. It's like, I'm going to grade you out and you're like this. And does this person match? Like,
That's very
your
Indian.
number? Exactly.
Using math to try and figure it out. Oh,
Exactly. And it's cool. Like they have these basically like these one sheets. It has like little picture in the corner and like the basic info up here. And then a couple paragraphs on who they
Interesting.
are. They hand them out and they show like the visual representations of them.
That's a good idea. For shallow people like me, there's only one criteria. Like, are they hot? It's not a bad idea to maybe get a little bit deeper dive of a person.
And one of our comments here, someone is making a suggestion that we pool our cash together and hire Krishna or a matchmaker.
Oh my God.
I know what
our mother would love that. but-
Arjuna, I know what we're getting Krishna for his
No,
birthday.
that sounds. Wait, first of all, in this age of coronavirus, we're talking at least.
I mean,
Down
okay,
the
Krishna,
road.
what if we did it for us, right? Like we documented it, and then we decided if it was like a good experience or not. Like,
So was it good productions?
Yeah,
And then we could sell it to Netflix, and it will
Yeah.
be called Krishna Matchmaking. or
Yeah.
Matchmaking for Krishna.
But the shtick has to be that I'm incompatible with anyone, so we can create multiple seasons, and every season that goes by, it gets more and more dire.
Krishna
That-
with a mustache, Krishna with a beard.
yeah, exactly. And every season will have a different.
and then
thing.
like years later, it's like, oh man, do you remember season 3 when Christian decided to get a pet tiger?
The Tiger King.
The Tiger
crossover.
King
Wait, no,
season.
but hold on. But it was a stuffed
stuffed tiger.
Stuffed tiger.
The comment section is blowing up right now. Everyone's saying this is a brilliant idea. One person asked, "What is your criteria?"
Well, I mean, are they easy on the eyes?
What the fuck?
That is really my only criteria. I used to have a long list in my early 20s, and every year that's gone by, it gets smaller. And
You actually
smaller and
wrote down
smaller.
like a list of what?
No, I never wrote
Oh,
it down. It's
oh.
more just like
mental like.
Yeah. Like they have to have a good career. And, it's
Smart.
just all these like different
Gotcha.
things, and it's actually gone smaller.
So
as the years
that's
go
what's
by.
interesting, right? Each time you see Seema from Mumbai meet with a person, she talks to them and asks them like, "What's your criteria?" And some people have very specific criteria.
Oh.
Like one woman is like, I want someone between 5'6" and 5'9".
What the
and
fuck?
I want them between the ages of 31 to 35. I don't want them to be a lawyer like me. I want them to not be funny. I want them to be adventurous. I want them to want to travel but not be outdoorsy.
All right, so I have criteria.
Is this a real person on the show?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I don't want them to be funny.
Yeah,
She's like,
that's hilarious.
Her reasoning was like, I've dated the funny man and I don't like them.
You don't like that? Oh my god.
God, you must be a boring individual.
So my
So the person I was specifically describing was probably the person most viewers disliked the most. Like
was that Aparna by chance?
Yes, Aparna.
Thank you, sir. Harold.
It was the one. She's from Texas. Was a lawyer. Like she goes on one date and there's the other guy's a lawyer, and she's really skeptical about doing this. And she's like, yeah, so like, what made you become a lawyer? He's like, oh, I really like being a lawyer. Like, I like my job and everything. She's like, really? That's weird to me. I hate being a lawyer.
This woman sounds
I'm like,
terrible.
what the hell?
Maybe.
Why do you even do it?
So it sounds like the shtick of being incompatible with everyone on the planet has already been done.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
It was done in this season of
Wait,
Indian
so
matchmaking.
the people that she's matching up, are they strictly Indian, or is she doing like everybody and anybody?
They're from Indian families. So
Gotcha.
there's like one woman who is Guyanese. She lives in New York, and she
New York City,
of course
I'm
she does.
assuming?
Yeah.
Say again.
New York City, I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
She lives in Queens.
Yes.
Maybe I don't know
No,
if exactly
absolutely
which city
lives in
it was.
Queens. Yeah.
And
She's Guyanese.
it was cool.
And she's neighbors with Cheshire Buddy.
Neighbors with her uncle.
It was to me that was like a really cool moment because like we have kind of a similar background, right? Like we are Indian, but we've never been to India, and none of our grandparents were born in India.
And our
They were-
dad was born in Guyana,
Yeah.
just like this person.
So they were like we are Guyanese, but like the origin is Indian, right? And so it's kind of cool to see that represented and see somebody else explain that.
What about the other two
Wait,
parallels?
Arjuna, when you saw that piece, did you jump up and scream, "Oh my God, I feel represented"?
Yes, I
Hollywood
cried.
represents me.
I cried. No. But no, it was cool to see that. And what was interesting is kind of, and you guys kind of know this, obviously, growing up in an Indian family. She talked about how it was difficult for her to date other Indian people because they looked down on her because she wasn't from India. She wasn't from an Indian family directly from India.
Our situation was a little bit different.
For sure.
Because we grew up in a place where there were no other Indians. We may have been the only ones for miles and miles.
But so it was interesting because the show did bring up like the caste system and how important family is and kind of judgmental. Like there's even one part where the matchmaker is like, well, this woman's kind of large and she isn't pretty on the eyes, so we have to focus on other things. And like it's very blunt.
Oof.
Like some of it is very blunt.
Brutal.
And it's just like, ooh, this is
So this
tough.
is not a PC show.
No, definitely not. And I think
Interesting.
there was a lot of backlash to the show because that side was shown.
Yeah,
But I mean,
it's very interesting.
I mean, if they're listing themselves as a documentary, then
They need to capture the reality.
Exactly, they're
Yeah.
allowed to like show
Yeah,
the negativity
exactly.
of this whole thing.
and it was interesting because you had a lot like they showed you some of her clients from India and then some of the ones in America.
That's cool.
And
Oh,
like
cool.
a lot of there were like the Indian ones were super fucking rich. Like there was one guy, he had a keypad on his walk-in closet. That's how rich he was.
I'm
Well-
sorry. Real quick, just so everyone's aware and people listening at home. So if you want to be considered rich to Arjuna, just get a keypad and put it in your closet, and then you're rich.
No, you have to see these people's like houses and stuff.
But it makes sense that
they're
they would
mansions,
they would be rich, and you're hiring a professional like matchmaker.
They can
then
afford it.
They can
Yeah,
afford
yeah.
it. Yeah.
There was like another guy in India. His name was like Akshay, and his mother was just like, "You need to get married by December. I'm giving you 3 choices. If you don't pick, I'm going to pick." It was just very intense.
Yeah. Weren't there a couple other characters who might relate to someone specific?
Yeah. So there were some interesting things. There's a guy from Texas, and when they showed you the biodata, he was born in Derry, New Hampshire.
Which is, by the way, where we pretty much grew up.
Grew up for a lot.
Derry,
of our
New
lives.
Hampshire.
Yeah. And then Nadia, who was the Guyanese woman, I think she went on a date with a guy named Ravi. Yeah.
Not me. I haven't left this bubble, so
And I think
can't be mad at me.
Fun fact about the Ravi guy, he like ghosted her twice.
Wow. Don't we have a cousin named Nadia as well?
Yes.
So this show is basically
It was.
this show is basically our different aspects of our life, but like people blow like
Yep.
become alive from those individual aspects.
Yeah.
That's
And
weird.
then there was another Indian who's born in the UK. We were born in the UK. When I watched the show, I was in Pasadena. There was like another person who was like born in Pasadena. I'm like, they're listening to my conversations or something.
Either that or we actually live the most
Stereotypical. Indian.
stereotypical Indian immigrant lives ever. Everything we've
And
done
we don't
is what
realize
every
that?
Indian was what every other Indian who's moved away from India does. We're just doing the
hold
same
on.
thing.
Then
That's
there
the
was
best
another
part.
character who played the guy who was born in Derry, New Hampshire. One of his hobbies was playing Dungeons and Dragons.
oh my god, this is creepy.
The only thing I couldn't find related to us was the professions. Like they were all
Doctors and lawyers.
no, they weren't
Oh.
all doctors and lawyers. Like there was one guy, like the guy in Texas who's from Derry was like a guidance counselor at a school.
Ugh.
There was one of the women in India had started her own like clothing line, but no one was like in our industry in terms of like media or anything. So
That's
that was the
because
one thing I didn't.
That's
find.
because they all wanted to, pick fulfilling and like meaningful careers that actually like have an impact on the fucking world.
Oh my
Good for them.
Oh my god.
But Arjuna, would you say Indian matchmaking was good?
Yeah, actually, I would say it was good. Netflix has been doing a lot of these different dating type of shows recently, and they are very documentary style. And this one was interesting and well done and well shot, and I enjoyed it. And I would watch a second season.
Wow.
If they
How
do come
how
up
long
with
are episodes?
They range they range from like 30 to 45 minutes. I think there was like 8 episodes. It's interesting. It's definitely worth a watch.